Let us try to understand how AC generator works, how electricity is produced, alternating current. In a power plant, a coil is taken and this coil is rotated in a magnetic field. There is another option, we can keep coil stationary and rotate the magnets instead. That also can be done. But basically, alternating current is produced by rotating a coil in a magnetic field. So this exactly how it happens and what is the governing equation of the EMF produced, I will explain. Here are two poles of a magnet. Here is a coil taken and the coil is rotated in a magnetic field. The coil is connected via, these are called as commutator. This might be something like a slip ring commutator. And here is the fixed circuit having bulbs, air conditioners, fans, etc. So you are sitting at home and this is the bulb that you want to light, LED that you want to put on. But electricity is produced maybe 1,000 or 2,000 kilometers away in a power plant by rotating a coil. And how to rotate a coil? According to that, different power plants are there. In a hydroelectric power plant, water falls, and all this is in a drum, which we call as a turbine. When the water falls on the turbine, this drum rotates and coil rotates. If you are in a thermal power plant, then we take water, we heat it using coal, we make it, convert it into steam. Steam we allow to fall on this turbine, and the turbine rotates, the drum rotates, and the coil rotates. Or we can have tides in a windmill, we can have wind will rotate this drum or this turbine, then the coil will rotate and electricity is generated. People say waterfalls and electricity is generated. Directly, it does not happen. We need a coil in a magnetic field. Otherwise, waterfalls in a bucket in your washroom also, but electricity is not generated there. Now, coming to this derivation, let us see. Please try to understand. Let us say coil is rotated through an angular velocity with an angular velocity omega. Omega will be in radian per second. The way I would have talked, coil rotates at 30 degrees per second or 40 degrees per second. I will talk of 2 pi radians per second, 100 pi radians per second, etc. etc. Omega is the speed in radian per second with which coil is rotating. Next, let B, capital B, be the magnetic field strength of the magnetic field between the two poles of the magnet. Let capital A be the area of the coil. Area is a vector. If coil is like this, then its area vector is normal to the plane of the area. Next, let coil rotate through angle theta in time t. Let coil turn through angle theta in time t. Now, always remember speed equal to distance upon time, distance equal to speed into time. So theta is the angular distance. We are talking angular, not linear. So we are talking of, merry-go-round will always move in angular manner. We cannot think about it in linear manner directly. So we will use angular equations for the same. Similarly, coil is rotating. So we'll use equations for angular motion here. Theta is angular distance traveled, omega is the angular speed, and t is the time. So theta is the distance traveled in time t. So speed into time is theta. Next, while the coil rotates, it will cut magnetic flux, magnetic lines of force while it rotates. So magnetic flux through the coil keeps on changing because the area of the coil exposed to the magnetism, magnetic lines keeps on changing. By Faraday's laws, when magnetic flux linked with the coil changes, an EMF is induced. Let's talk of the flux first. Magnetic flux passing through the coil is B into A into cos theta because there is some angle theta between magnetic field and area. Area vector will be somewhat like this right now up here, and magnetic field will be horizontal from north to south. So theta is the angle between them, but theta is nothing but omega t, and angle between magnetic field and area is the same as angle through which coil has rotated. Anyway, next, so BA cos omega t is the flux phi b which is passing through the coil, but this flux is continuously changing with time, magnetic flux. EMF induced for a coil of n turns is equal to minus n d phi by dt, which is d by dt of BA cos omega t. Flux through one turn was this, flux through n turns will be n number of time, that's why n is here. And then B, magnetic field strength and area is a constant. We'll take them out of the derivative operator, and derivative of cos omega t is minus sin omega t. Minus of minus will get cancelled. Derivative of cos omega t is minus sin omega t into, please see, derivative of cos omega t is sin omega t into derivative of omega t by chain rule, which is omega. So derivative of cos omega t in short is minus sin omega t into omega. So minus of minus will get cancelled. So NAB omega sin omega t is the expression for the instantaneous EMF, EMF produced at any instant. and N number of turns of the coil, B strength of magnetic field, A area of the coil, omega speed with which coil is rotated are constants in a given setup. So I'll call it as E naught. So governing equation of the EMF produced by rotating coil in a magnetic field is equal to E naught sine omega t. E naught is called the maximum value or the peak value of the EMF produced. E is instantaneous value of EMF. Instantaneous means at any instant. The graph of this EMF, etc., I will explain in a separate video.